Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys. You get now. Remember, I kind of was one of the first people to break this story and start having a discussion. And now, this story is starting to make waves around, the social media and the internet streets. Coming from the latest episode of the shop, where basically LeBron James, basically talked about the city of Boston and saying that the city of Boston is racist. And of course, they had a discussion on ESPN. They had Keyshawn Johnson and, you know, um, Kendrick Perkins talking about the city of Boston. And of course, Kendrick Perkins tried to basically sort of talk around it and basically try to do the lightweight devil's advocate and say, well, it's racism everywhere, and I really never saw it. Well, okay. At the end of the day, this is what I'm talking about, why people don't take certain people from TV seriously, because now Kendrick Perkins have became a character instead of being himself. And that's the problem when you work for these major networks versus me, where I pretty much work for myself. I'm my own media. So I don't have to be a character or play a role. Even though Kendrick Perkins is not, you know, playing another person, but he's playing a character. That's why they call a lot of times analysts and people that be on TV a TV personality, because basically you're playing a certain type of person with a certain type of personality. So, I'm kind of breaking that down. But, this is why, when it comes to people like Kendrick Perkins being on media outlets like ESPN based off who owns um, ESPN, this is why we accuse people like Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith and the Jason Whitlocks of the world acting a certain kind of way for the camera. So so everybody is lying on the city of Boston, like I said before. And for people to come on here and say, well, LeBron James is just doing this for attention. What kind of attention do LeBron James need when he's basically a billionaire? See, it's funny how you guys love to tell people, and in particularly black men, what you think they should talk about when it's time to talk about it. But when they form their own opinion about something, then all of a sudden, hey, man, well, maybe you should talk about this. If LeBron feels that way, then that's his right. Now, I like how Keyshawn Johnson basically said, hey, man, why do we keep having this discussion at least once a year about the city of Boston? Like I said, they have a historic history of doing this kind of stuff. Most of my subs who said they had visited the city of Boston said they ran into some kind of racism. And one of my subs lives in the city of Boston, and she's confirmed what I've said. I've met white people who came from Boston. When I used to do Uber, I drove people around that came from Boston and said they had to get out of there because that city was too racist for them. This is white people saying, hey, Boston is just too racist. Didn't y'all see that movie, The Departed? What did Leonardo DiCaprio say to Anthony Anderson when they were about to graduate the police academy? What he said about being a black man in Boston. Okay? So stop playing these games. Kendrick Perkins, at the end of the day, even though Draymond Green tried to backtrack a little bit, I understand why he called you what he called you. Because to a certain degree, you are doing that. Stop playing these games. So everybody is lying on the city of Boston. Okay? So Bill Russell, who has a historic history as being one of the greatest basketball players in history, basically didn't like living in the city of Boston because his life was in danger on a regular basis. There was an incident with Marcus Smart and the lady. The incident with the hockey player, and that was like in 2017, 2018. Torrey Hunter said, I'll play anywhere except the city of Boston. Don't trade me to the city of Boston. Barry Bonds said, I'd never play in Boston. So like I said before, this seems to get addressed on a regular basis. So it got to be something to it. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want me to bring up, actors that's from the city of Boston. You don't want me to bring up the situation with Mark Wahlberg, what he did. Okay. So let's not play these games. Let's not play these games. Let's not make it look like LeBron is just saying this just to be saying this. Don't tell a man, oh, stick to playing basketball, but then when it comes to speaking on other things, you want him to speak. It's okay for him to speak on certain issues, maybe pertaining to the black community, depending on can you tolerate it. But then when he speaks on racism towards black people, police brutality, hey, LeBron, you just stick to playing basketball. Man, y'all go fuck y'all self. And that's just real talk. But yeah, Kendrick Perkins was soft shoeing, and you know what I'm saying, it looked like he had a plate of biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Basically a hot plate of biscuits coming. Looked like they was sort of baking in the oven. So yeah, but Keyshawn Johnson, I like his response. He said he never played in New England. He said he, as a player. But he said, hey, I've heard things about Boston. I've been hearing things about Boston forever. So it got to be something to it. And I don't want to hear, well, it's not fair to just generalize the whole city. Shit, I'm black. I've been getting generalized my whole fucking life. But then the thing is, the city of Boston seemed to have embraced it, and they haven't tried to fix it. You haven't had people say, hey, you know what, I'm from Boston, and we need to try to, we need to try to turn this around. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion on the situation. But anyway, this is your boy Town Biz. I'm out.